We bought the original property and it was 192 hectares, of which there's about 100 hectares in native bush on the face, facing the Rangatahi Plains, and the rest pretty much was in pasture. We have since added another 70 acres to that original block.
The original bit was 100 hectares and we milked 240 cows, and then we added the 70 acres, 30 hectares, and went up to 80 cows. And then 3 years ago we got offered a 50 hectare lease block across the road and put 120 cows once a day on that. So now we milk about 420, around about 420 through the peak, and about a third of them are on once a day. And the heifers, the young stock are all grazed off, so we've got no young stock on the milking platform, which is now 180 hectares.
And then we've got 30 hectares and approximately 30 hectares in pine trees, and they are at about 14 or 15 years.
Yeah, nearly 16.
16 years.
Same age as land.
Hopefully provide some retirement income. Yeah, I work off the farm for Fonterra, so pretty much I'm away by 8 o'clock in the mornings and get back at whatever time. I also am involved in some travel, so there are some weeks where I might be away for 2 nights a week. But otherwise generally get involved in some of the maintenance on the farm, particularly the water supply.
Dave's also been the driver behind a lot of the retirement, the native planting and amenity stuff, and certainly the pine trees are his project. They wouldn't be there if it was up to me. That's fine. They're all paid for. Prior to converting, I ran the place by myself, but when we had 2 little kids under 4 and another one on the way, we decided it was time to do something and to try and grow the business as well. So we converted to dairy with the expectation that my workload would lessen, and we employ a herd manager. So my involvement as I run the business, the farming business, I do all the administration, all that side of it too. Because we like to take on first-time managers when we first get these guys, there's quite a lot of day-to-day input that still needs to be done when they first arrive. As the seasons go on, it becomes a little less so. I rear the calves and spray a bit of ragwort and generally run around and gopher, and then we have about 200 acres of leased land that we winter the cows on, and I run a bit of dry stock. I'm a trained lab technician, but I've never pursued that career. I just wanted to farm. So when we got married and moved here, Dave has always worked off the farm, and we were looking for something a little bit smaller just to keep me out of trouble, and ended up with something quite a lot bigger than a little bit smaller. And it's kind of carried on from there, but I just enjoy it, and it has fit in well around child rearing, and I'm still a full-time mum. So this is the second time we've entered the awards, and the last time was 3 years ago, I think, and we won the Nutrient Management Award. In that one, we use RPR type products generally, although there is some soluble P in there just to keep everything ticking along. There's a nutrient budget in place, and we soil test regularly every other year and treat the flats separately from the hills in terms of soil testing, although try and rationalise things a bit between the two. The effluent is land-based, like it's an irrigator, and those areas too are they're treated a little bit differently as well. We skip some nitrogen dressings and K off them. We've regrassed all the areas that are suitable to get at, and in the past we've done it by turning them over, disking straight grass to grass, but last year we did 2 paddocks on the lease block, just spraying out and direct drilling, which seemed to work quite well, and we might do a bit more of that. You have to keep those hills well under control once the spring flush comes, or it just all turns to custard. But no crops. We make a bit of silage and try and do everything on farm, no board and feed, although we have been feeding a bit of PKE. Because we've got a third of them on once a day, I have to admit I haven't actually separated out the third on once a day and found out separately what their production per cow is, or per hectare, compared to the twice a days. But the best we've ever done was 340 a cow. We're pretty happy with that. Essentially, cow condition is really important to us. We like them to look well, we like them to get back and calf, we like to have older cows in the herd, that have been there year after year after year. That's really satisfying.
We've retired areas of native bush, fenced them, and that gives a lot of aesthetic beauty to the farm as well, which is always pleasing. And then on some of the steeper areas, fence those, and if we can, have planted those as well. So we've divided all our reservoirs, of which there are 3 25,000 litre tanks in half, and that supplies the farm under either a pumped or a gravity situation. And if we ever run out, there's a leak somewhere, at least we know we've got 3 half tanks full that hopefully will keep us going until we find the leak or find the problem.
Manawahe's always been a really great place to live. It's quite a good little community, and I'm still a member of the district committee, but I chaired it for quite a number of years, and during and prior to that I also helped edit the Manawahe News, which is a little news sheet that comes out once a month in the district. The thing I find hardest about where we're at the moment with the age the children are and the size of the operation is that I don't actually get enough hands-on time. I'm very much, I really enjoy my animals, and while I'm not an enthusiastic milker of cows on a hot, stinking sunny afternoon, I enjoy farming. I have some concerns about the way the dairy industry is going with large, often corporately owned farms, and I don't think there is the feeling for the land and the cows in a lot of those places that there should be. You shouldn't farm unless you care.